Hey everybody, welcome back to All Fiction is Fantasy. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, today I just have another little book haul to share with you. Some interesting things I've picked up over the last month or so. Or I guess it's been about 2 or 3 weeks. So let's start over here on the left-hand side. I have picked up a few more novelizations. I am continuing down my novelization kick, and whenever I see some at the used bookstore, I am picking them up. If they are movies or if they are books that I am interested in. I did pick up the original novelizations of Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and these are by Richard Mueller and Ed Naha. So I am looking forward to reading those. I do like Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2 quite a bit. I'm actually a pretty big defender of Ghostbusters 2. I think it's a pretty fun movie. And then on the last book haul video, we did talk a little bit about Tim Leban. And come to find out, Tim Leban has actually written quite a few novelizations. And so he did the novelization of Kong Skull Island. I am a huge fan of all of the new King Kong movies, especially that last one of Kong versus Godzilla. That movie was so awesome. Kong Skull Island was way better than I ever imagined it possibly being, so I am actually looking forward to reading this quite a bit. And then we have another Tim Leban novelization, and that is The Cabin in the Woods. Of course, this is unfortunately written by Joss Whedon. The screenplay was. I have never been a fan of Joss Whedon, not even a long time ago. I've always thought he was super overrated, and I'm glad, I always thought his feminism was also, it didn't ring true to me. I felt like his brand of feminism was always just a little bit too close to what some critics called deadly China doll syndrome. And it's just kind of another form of male gaze where somebody will say, man, she's so hot and she can kick my ass, or I would love for her to kick my ass, stuff like that. So his characters, I don't know. Joss Whedon, he's never really done it for me. His screenplay for Alien Resurrection is dreadful. One of the worst things ever. But Cabin in the Woods was really good. And I'm looking forward to reading it. I'm looking forward to how Tim Leban really handles the horror elements of Cabin in the Woods. I think this could be actually pretty dang interesting. Okay, and then we have the Drums of Chaos from Richard L Tierney. Richard L Tierney, of course, famous in the sword and sorcery circles, and this is his entry, or one of his entries, into the sword and sorcery / sandals genre. And this book is it's a sword and sorcery novel set in biblical times. And Jesus of Nazareth actually plays a part in this book. So The Drums of Chaos by Richard L Tierney is a full-length fantasy novel featuring his character, Simon of Gita, his mentor Dositheus, and their student Menander, as they encounter adventure, danger, and political intrigue across the Holy Lands. Simon, who is on a quest for revenge against the Romans who slew his parents, while Dositheus and Menander become entangled in a complex plot designed to summon a horrible entity on Earth. Another character who plays a key role is John Taggart, a character from Tierney's The Winds of Zar, which I have not read, who aids Simon and his companions on their adventures while pursuing hidden agendas of his own. Their paths all cross in Jerusalem and become intertwined with none other than Jesus of Nazareth, who has his own part to play in the Drums of Chaos. So if you've ever wanted to see how Jesus would act in a sword and sorcery novel, the Drums of Chaos might be something you want to look into. And speaking of sword and sorcery, I did also pick up the volume 7 of the Weird Works of Robert E. Howard. And this is the Wildside Press edition. I have been slowly collecting these over the years. I have volumes 1 through 7. I avoided this one for a while just because it has one of my least favorite Conan stories in here, Shadows of Zambula. I personally find that story to be just a little too racist for me. I talked about this in one of my first episodes of the Sword and Sorcery saga on the old channel, and it is actually in the supercut. It is a story about a bunch of Conan fighting against a city of black cannibals, and they're actually it's actually mentioned that they're black way more than it's mentioned that they're cannibals. Like them being dark skinned is worse than them being cannibals or something. I don't know. That story just never rubbed me the wrong way. And then it also has this Challenge from Beyond, which this Challenge from Beyond was a round robin style story that Howard worked on with 5 authors: C.L. Moore, A. Merritt, H.P. Lovecraft, Howard, and Long. So I've heard mixed things about that story. I've actually never read it. I always forget that A. Merritt was a part of that group. And so I am looking forward to reading that just to see how he contributes to a story like that. Okay, now let's move into some of the older paperbacks here. We have an old horror novel here called The Ashes of Tamar by Elizabeth Wade. A novel in the best-selling tradition of The Shining and The Omen. Tonight, she enters the body of the child woman. So witch and warlock battle for the body of soul of a child woman. At an archaeological dig near Safed in modern Israel, the restless spirit of a witch named Tamar escapes from an urn which has been her prison for 400 years. She is a practitioner of the black magic of the Kabbalists, a Jewish sect that followed the teachings of the secret book of the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah has nothing to do with black magic, so that's a little weird. The sorceress Tamar has found the one vessel through which she can regain her malign powers, the virgin child woman, Leah Barand, who is with her father in the group at the dig. Tamar and her mortal accomplice prepare the ritual of possession, but there is one force that she must first destroy, a modern-day warlock, armed with the one weapon that can stop her. Look at that text in there. My God, that's huge. Is this a large print edition? Yeah, I don't know. I thought that sounded kind of interesting, like kind of a bad knockoff of The Exorcist or something. Okay, I did also pick up another one of Bari Wood's horror novels, Amy Girl. I have, what is it? The Killing... I'll put the title up on The Tribe and Killing Time, I think, are her other two. She is actually still alive. I just looked her up. She's about 85 years old. She's only written a handful of novels. One of her novels was the basis for the Cronenberg movie Dead Ringers, I believe. This one, of course, has a nice quote by Stephen King, who I don't believe Stephen King ever read a book he didn't like. Let's see. Compelling, heart-pounding, unnerving, frightening. 8-year-old sweet and irresistible Amy is an orphan. Reach out to her with warmth and she'll love you. But cross her and she'll destroy you. It begins with a cold yet intimate breeze like a shiver of fear, a whisper of death. And as it swirls into the innocent minds of beautiful young Amy Kaslov, she becomes the master of a terrifying power. Amy can make people do things very much against their will. She can make strange and violent things happen, even death. Someone must save Amy from her awesomely destructive power. Someone must uncover the evil secret that hides behind her beautiful young face. Amy Girl. That sounds like something Stephen King would like, and I'm looking forward to reading that and looking forward to reading the other books by Bari Wood that I have. All right, then I picked up a Viking kind of sword and sorcery trilogy here written by Michael Jan Friedman. I bought these because they were mentioned in the back of Death Riders of Hell, the second book of Asa Drake's Bloodsong trilogy, which I just finished, and a review will be coming out next week. Spoiler alert, I love this book. I maybe like this more than the first, and the Bloodsong saga is quickly becoming my favorite work of sword and sorcery fiction. This thing rules. So I decided to pick up another kind of Viking-themed sword and sorcery saga, and that is The Seekers and the Sword. The Fortress and the Fire, and Hammer and the Horn. All about this hero named Vidar. So I have know next to nothing about these. The covers are only okay. I think this cover is pretty cool. The other two covers are not so cool, but this one looks nice. So looking forward to reading that at some point. And then my buddy, my really good friend Auron and I, we are finally going to be reading some Black Company books. And we are going to be actually reading the first one together and then doing a review on the channel together. He and I have been long time been best friends, and we read a lot of the same books, and we like a lot of the same kinds of stories and stuff. So I have never read Glenn Cook. I have never read a Black Company book. And I decided to track down some nice copies of the old mass markets. So we got the Black Company there, and Shadows Linger, and the White Rose. That cover is just gorgeous. I absolutely love that. And then finally, we have 2 entries into David C. Smith's Auron series. And of course, David C. Smith, he was one of the authors, the original authors of Red Sonja. And Auron was one of his sword and sorcery creations. And I have books 1 and 2. And then I picked up book 3 and 4. Book 3 is in really good shape. Very happy with its condition. Book 4 is in better shape than it looks. When I first saw it, when it arrived and I saw this spine, I thought it was like going to be kind of peeling off. But it's actually not. It almost looks like somebody took sandpaper to it. I don't know. It's weird. But it doesn't look very nice. But the book itself is actually in pretty good condition. I might try to track down one with a nicer spine. I'm not sure. But I'm looking forward to reading. The first Auron book is the only one I've read, but I need to reread that for a review. And I haven't read 2, 3, or 4. And I believe there's 5 books in this series. So looking forward to eventually checking these out. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this quick little show and tell here, a little book haul. And we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.